what does it cost? Mean mugging. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sherry, and in today's video I am doing a cruise Q&A. I am answering all of your questions that you have sent me about my recent cruise. If you haven't seen my travel vlog that I posted last week, I'll link it in the eye above and you'll want to check that out. To those of you who've already seen that video and came here from that one, thank you so much for watching and supporting. I did a Q&A over on my Instagram as well as Facebook, and you guys sent me a couple of questions. Even before I did the Q&A, some people sent me some questions that I know personally and so on, and so I included their questions as well because I'm sure you all will want to know. All right, so getting right into it, the first question was the cruise all inclusive? And so the short answer to that is yes. Your breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included in your cruise fare for each person in your stateroom. Those meals are buffet style with the exception of your dinner, which is a prefixed menu, and you get to choose from a number of menu options. However, besides that, you do have other restaurants and bars on board that you can pay. The charge is made to your stateroom, and those charges have to be settled by the end of the cruise. It also includes non-alcoholic beverages that are served by the glass at your buffet and your dinner, such as iced tea, coffee, tea, lemonade, apple juice, orange juice, water. You can purchase beverage packages for things like alcohol as well as sodas and other premium coffees like Starbucks and other drinks. Those as well are charged to your stateroom card, and the charges have to be settled by the end of the cruise. The next question was, what does it cost? So the cost for 2 persons in an interior room was $1,532.36. This of course is for a 6-night cruise for 2 persons, total cost for an interior room. And so this was of course after an early booking / summer discount of $1,186. The cruise was a gift to us, and the agent who arranged everything for our trip, I will link her information in the description box below. The next question is the food included good, or is it better to buy from the other restaurants? Now, I would have indicated earlier that your meals are included in your cruise fare. However, you do have other restaurants and bars, like I indicated, that you can purchase meals from, drinks from, and so on. Those are charged to your stateroom, and you have to settle that account at the end of your cruise. I would say that overall, the food that is included at the buffets in your stateroom cost is good. I would rate it overall a 7 out of 10. The chef's table experience that we did, if you haven't seen that, please check out my travel vlog. You'll see what I'm talking about. But there's a chef's table experience that we did on our anniversary night on the 29th of August. That I would rate the food at Chef's Table 10 out of 10. Now, food, of course, is a very personal opinion, and so my opinion may not necessarily be yours, but it's definitely something that you would want to check out. But in my view, the food was good. We did meet a couple at the Chef's Table who had both the beverage package as well as the dining package. There was a dining package too that you could do for meals, and so you could dine at whatever restaurant, whatever other location you wanted to, that were included in that package. They did indicate that the hibachi was the best food they had eaten on board, other than the chef's table experience. Bearing in mind as well that they had never eaten in the main dining room, for the regular dinner that is included in your cruise fare. The next question is, do you need visas? Now, whether or not you need a visa depends upon where your cruise leaves from. The cruise that we were on left from Cape Canaveral, that's in Orlando, Florida, in the United States. And so at the time of checking in to the cruise, we were required to show our visas. And so we were informed that in order to board a cruise from the United States, because you are leaving, there's a point of entry, that is immigration, where you need to be able to show that either you are a resident of the United States or a citizen, or that you have a valid visa to be in the United States. So if you're illegally in the United States, then you will not be able to board a cruise leaving out of the United States, because they do ask to see your visa. And they don't ask to see your passport as just a form of identification. They ask to see the visa that you have as well to be in the United States. If you are boarding a cruise that leaves out of the Caribbean, such as Carnival cruises, that there is a Carnival cruise that leaves out of Barbados, you would not require a visa for that, because of course if you are from a CARICOM country, then you know that you have freedom of movement under the Treaty of Chaguaramas, so you would be able to travel to Barbados without a visa, or any other entry requirements other than having a valid passport, of course, and be able to board a cruise within the Caribbean, leaving from the Caribbean as well. The next question was, how many countries did you visit and how long did you stay? And so we visited 3 countries, which were Haiti, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. Jamaica is the only country where we were actually able to go into the country and do some exploring and so on. But we visited 3 countries, and that is not including the port of Cape Canaveral, Orlando, although on the day of disembarkation they did have an excursion to the Kennedy Space Center, I believe it was, as part of the activities of the cruise. And so they included that as one of their excursions on disembarkation day, which was on day 7. The next question was, what were the activities available on the ship? Let me tell you, on board, you were spoiled for choice with activities. Some of the activities that they had on board included the casino, sports such as basketball, football, pickleball, volleyball, table tennis. There are swimming pools, there are hot tubs, there's karaoke, there's a nightclub, there is surfing, the flow rider, where Kiefer and I were so upset that we didn't get to try it, because by the time that we thought to go and do it, they were already closed for the day, and that was like the last day of the cruise. Yeah, so there's surfing on the flow rider, there are water slides, there's rock climbing, there's ice skating. There is ice skating on board the ship on sea. Yes, there is ice skating. So there was ice skating as well. There were musical theater shows as well as ice skating shows. And there was, of course, comedy shows. The comedy shows were really, really nice. And there was, of course, shopping. So all shopping on board the ship is duty free. And so there's lots of shopping to do on board the ship. You can get jewelry, you can get clothing items, you can get handbags. They had pre-loved designer handbags and so on too. So if you're into that, they had that on board too, all duty free. And if you're a couch potato and you prefer to stay in your room, or if you've been overstimulated by all that was going on board and all of the activities, there are movies that are shown on your TV every day in your room. There's also a list of activities and a schedule that is in the Royal Caribbean app. You download the app and connect to the ship's Wi-Fi when you get on board, and that schedule of activities is also shown every single day on the TV in your stateroom as well. The next question was, how were the other guests? Now, the other guests were pretty pleasant for the most part. There were some very special characters who I would say definitely tickled me because, for example, there was this one guy who, for the entire cruise, dressed like a vampire or Blade from Blade Trinity, something like he was dressed in all black leather, had a cape, had a walking stick, had the little metal finger claw extension things. He either sometimes had dark shades on or he had in black contacts. He was very, very special, and he just kind of like walked around the ship, and then on the pool deck he would like just stand there, not moving, not saying anything to anyone, just like mean mugging. But he didn't bother anyone. Was definitely an interesting character to see on board. So I guess on board you do have the freedom to be whatever character you want to be and just enjoy the cruise in your own way. Royal Caribbean had, I would say, a very diverse crowd. I know persons usually say that Royal Caribbean is an older crowd, but the cruise that we were on, it was like an end of summer cruise. And so you had a very diverse crowd. You had lots of young people, you had lots of older folks too, but you also had a lot of people who were like middle age, still, in their working years, maybe in their 30s and their 40s. Coming together as a group of friends and taking a cruise, and it was a really diverse crowd. It's not the older crowd weren't affecting the younger crowd or younger people from enjoying themselves in any way. If you went to the nightclub in the evenings, then there was literally no old persons there. They were all young people, and everybody was just enjoying themselves and having a good time. And the older folks didn't, they weren't mean mugging. The only time that you really saw them was really during meal times, and of course when you're heading into the different cruise ports for excursions and so on. There were some folks who had mobility issues and they were moving around with scooters, but they weren't the vast majority by any means. I would say that they were a minority on the cruise, and so they didn't hinder or affect our experience in any way. So the next question I got was, when do you have to book? Now, I'm thinking that from cruise to cruise liner, that will vary. We booked at least, I want to say, like 6 months in advance. We made the first down payment, and after that you can make as many down payments as you want. According to the Royal Caribbean website, to secure your reservation, Royal Caribbean does require a deposit within 7 days of your booking, or full payment if you book within 70 days of departure. That's 90 days in the case of holiday cruises like the Christmas cruise, Christmas New Year's cruises, and 120 days for Trans-Pacific, Asia reposition, and round Australia cruises. All right, and so it means therefore that if you want to pay in installments, then you need to book your cruise well in advance of 70 days, because if you book within 70 days of the cruise, then you have to pay right away upon reservation. And the final question was, would I do it again? And the answer to that is yes. Absolutely. I am already looking at cruises with my cousins because we want to do a little bit of a family cousins reunion type cruise. My husband's family have been on cruises multiple times before. This was my first cruise experience. Again, if you haven't watched it, I'll link the travel vlog in the eye. But I would absolutely do it again. I'm looking forward to cruising again in the future, and it's definitely an experience that I would encourage everyone to try at least once. It's one of the best ways to travel, I would say. I have been convinced that it really and truly is. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out my other videos and my shorts. Check out my travel vlog and my cruise experience, and stay tuned for more videos in the future. If you haven't subscribed, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. Like, comment along, let me know if there are any other questions that you want to know in the comments below, and remember to comment along respectfully, have whatever discussions you want to have. The cruising community is huge, and so there are many tips and tricks and things that you'll see in other cruise videos, first time cruise tips and so on, and there are lots of things that you can find here on YouTube. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.